Discourse 16 through 18, Saint Germain. Invocation. Almighty, wondrous presence, we rejoice in the fullness of the Christ activity, the active presence of God. Out of the fullness of this presence comes pouring, like a mighty stream gushing forth from the mountains, the energy of illumination. This great and mighty stream of life, with all its attributes of perfection, surging into the hearts of mankind, is anchoring in everyone peace, love, harmony, faith, and compassion to all. Strengthen them to stand unwaveringly in thy light and face thy truth, joyously willing to pluck out of their lives and creations all undesirable things. Thou mighty, infinite presence, all-pervading substance of light, thou radiant, illumining presence which I am. Out of the fullness of thy radiant life, O God, we bow in adoration before thy mighty presence. In gratitude and praise we enter into the fullness of thy presence today and forever. Receive thy limitless blessings, thy strength and courage, thy joyous enthusiasm, all of which is self-sustained. We know there is but one presence. I am that presence of all activity, all wisdom and power, and in the freedom of that mighty presence we stand serene, unmoved by all outer things which seem to point to the contrary. I stand serene in thy great forever. I claim thy great dominion in my place. I stand in the radiance of God eternal, ever looking thee full in the face. Discourse. The I am harmonious presence is ever pervading whatever the condition may be. Say, I am the conquering presence conducting in perfect divine order, commanding harmony, happiness, and the presence of God abundance in my mind, my body, my home, and my world. When I say I am the conquering presence, I am fully, consciously aware that I've set in motion the full power and intelligence of God producing the desired conditions, and that they are thus self-sustained. To feel the sustaining power of this in the face of every appearance until you find perfection manifest in your mind, body, home, and world is the privilege of all those embraced in the spirit of life itself. Unless one believes in the limitless powers and laws of intelligence of God individualized, he can in no way receive to any great extent from this mighty inner presence. To some it is difficult to get away from the thought that it is imaginary, but could you perceive from the inner standpoint, you would see that it has a mighty presence and power and is very real. A simple but very wonderful thing is for one to give appreciation morning, noon, and evening for that magnificent presence of life which animates the mind and body. It is a tremendous thing to feel deeply this thanksgiving for the presence of life which holds within itself all things. Just be grateful to life for all it is and contains. We cannot even think without life. If one would take this statement, I am the presence of life, thinking through this mind and body, he would receive some very remarkable ideas. The attention held upon the I am presence so releases the power of perfection that the wrong ideas and obstruction to the light simply dissolve and disappear. The very simple thing, if students could only understand and apply it, is to absolutely keep the mind off the world and know only I am the only presence in life there. It would open the doors, oh so wide. At this stage of growth, or rather expansion of the light, it is necessary to know I am the active presence of all channels of distribution of all things acting for my good. You are decreeing for your world, so you cannot take from anyone when knowing your own law, I am the presence acting everywhere. There is no possibility of division of the I am presence. Put all your power back with God, and then when you command, no matter what it is you want, you have all power on hand to bring forth instantly the fulfillment of your decree. The vibration within any element is always the breath of God, eternally self-sustained. All pulsation is the breath of God. The simple consciousness that I am the presence of perfect health is the breath of God acting. I am the presence of forgiveness in the mind and heart of every one of God's children. This releases enormous vibratory action after its kind. Hold the following with vividness. I am the pure mind of God. Oh, that the children of God could awaken to the stupendous activity that the powers of light use for the good of humanity when their attention is sincerely focused on that light. The faith to believe in the things not seen is one of the greatest means to open the door to the conscious activity of the light of the I Am presence. I wish all to understand this radiance of the light has been established for a certain definite purpose, and it will go forth doing its work regardless of any personality or of all personalities in existence. I say this plainly that the students of this radiation may understand they are dealing with mighty forces which are as real as reality can be. Through the use of the mighty I Am presence, one can maintain absolute self-control in the sunshine of God's eternal light and walk steadfastly and fearlessly in its radiant splendor, free, forever free from all limitation, living in the abundance of that light, enfolding them like a mantle of peace and rest. Many times the student who knows the law, when something comes up and he is disturbed, should turn to the I Am presence immediately and ask what is to be done. Take the statement, this discord must give way, and the perfect sight and hearing must come through. Take the firm statement, I am the presence of your perfect sight and hearing, to heal those conditions. Each one should take the statement, I am my perfect sight and hearing. In the beginning of these marvelous experiences, there must be faith to tide over until we can manifest the reality, for faith is the sustaining power. And if we keep it generated, it becomes reality. Go serenely along and do not let time, place, nor things interfere. The outer mind must be calm and steady, and the outer and inner will, or God's will, must become one. As the attention is fixed on it with firm determination, more and more of the inner operation is revealed until you can consciously manipulate it. I would be so pleased to have every one of the students, just at this time especially, use the statement with all the enthusiasm they can command. I am. I am. I know I am the use of God's limitless abundance. Now let us enter into the keynote, the simple understanding of God's will and free will. God's will is the abundance of goodwill, the birthright of every one of God's children. When you're reaching to the light in the use of the mighty I Am presence with sincerity, it is not possible for you to do otherwise than call for God's will to be done. As children of God, who has given his children free will that they may choose, they must understand that it is for them alone to decree what shall act in their lives and world. Having free will all must understand that God can only act in his life and world according to one's conscious direction. God is the principle of all life, and each child of God is an individualized, conscious, active part of that one great principle of life and love and power God has given into the keeping of every one of his children, this marvelous consciousness which is omnipresent, eternally elastic as it were, which can be drawn into a focal point to write with the pen of light or expand to encompass the earth. Consciousness is always subject to direction through the use of the free will. The most unfortunate understanding established by the orthodox idea that God acts of his own free will in the life of the individual or nation is positively not true. God can only act through the mind of his own individualization, which is clothed with the personalities that you see about you. These personalities are but vehicles of use and expression of this mighty individuality, which is God's will and your free will, but it only comes into use by your conscious direction. I say to you that every function of your body is sustained through conscious action, although you are not aware of it. But as you reach deeper and deeper into the consciousness of the mighty I Am presence, you will come to understand that it is impossible for any outer action within the body to take place without conscious action. The stream of life flowing through the mind and body always comes into individuals pure and unadulterated, containing within it all the strength, courage, energy, and wisdom that they can ever be desired. But by the lack of control of thought and feeling, you are unknowingly requalifying this perfect essence with the outer ideas upon which the attention has been drawn. To form the habit every moment the mind is not otherwise occupied of being self-conscious that I am the only intelligence acting, will keep the mighty, wonderful stream of life from being discolored, and I shall say disqualified, by the erroneous concepts of the outer activity of the mind. This is a simple secret of really all perfection, if one can but comprehend it. This great life comes into everyone's use, pure and perfect. But through lack of understanding, the outer mind is constantly requalifying it with discordant concepts. And thus human beings change its otherwise perfect action into that which they find expressed in limitation and discord in their outer activity. They should make it clear to students that the simple activity that they should self-consciously maintain in order to keep this marvelous, perfect life that is constantly flowing through their minds and body in its pure, fragrant state. For I tell you truly that those who will follow and maintain this idea will find the emanations from their own bodies becoming rarer than the lily or the rose, further in the consciousness of this perfection which is constantly flowing into their use. They can know it as perfect health and beauty of face and form until its radiance shines forth like the sun. O beloved student, when it is so simple, requiring so little consciously sustained effort, is it not worth all it requires on your part to enter into the fullness of this life stream and receive its fullness and blessing? Is it possible, or it is possible, to sustain this mighty active presence in the midst of a hailstorm? I have always maintained this. And most of the time I have stood alone. But the ability of students to grasp the use of the I Am Presence is making tremendous things possible. The very words which Jesus used from time to time, all may use, and will use sometime, somewhere, with fulfillment. For the words he used at all times were life, and contained within them that ascended life, or perfect life. There is no radiation that goes forth anywhere in the universe except through conscious projection. The radiation projected from the stars, so-called, to our Earth does not and cannot come into contact with the Earth without the conscious direction of the cosmic being who is the conscious directing presence of that star or planet. This conscious direction is what makes the radiation from one planet to another reach its destination, but the radiation thus directed does not carry any adverse aspect to any individual there. The universal cosmic laws of the earth, which impel growth through the law of experience, hold within themselves that which you know as resistance. If there were not that which the individual knows as resistance, he would not make conscious effort, and this would make it impossible for advancement and understanding, or the return to the Father's house from which the children of earth have strayed. Resistance has nothing whatsoever to do with discord. Resistance is a natural law. Discord is a human creation. There is no discord in the universe except that which the personality creates. Take the dynamic consciousness, I am, the pure mind of God, in everyone present here. This shuts out human desire. Take the consciousness, I am, the conducting presence of this. The desire first comes in the mind, and if you take the consciousness, I am the pure mind of God, it consumes the thought and keeps the human mind clear from the desire entirely. There is not a moment in the day that we do not visualize something, because the power of vision is acting all the time. Keep all out of the mind except the picture you want, for that is all with which you are concerned. Do not let the attention become drawn to the seeming emptiness. Benediction. Thou infinite mighty personal presence, we give praise and thanks for thy radiance, for thy intelligent eternal light, for thy qualifying presence. We give forth our gratitude to thee that in the acknowledgement of the I am presence we have the key to all things visible and invisible. Thou mighty presence, as we find ourselves held within thy mighty embrace, we become imbued with the radiant intelligence, thy marvelous strength, thy invincible courage to hold constantly within thy mighty light. We thank thee.